I've been avoiding this subject for so long, but no more. Let's do the Israel-Palestinian conflict. This subject is so rife with bias and hate and opinion on all sides of this conflict. But if you are trying to look at this objectively, and you still think that the Israeli government is just honestly trying to just defend their country and that's it, then you have been fucking fooled big time. I mean, they don't even really try to mask it very much at all. They're basically like, fuck you. Look, check this out. Here's a magic phrase, right? No matter what happens, no matter what we do, no matter how many innocent civilians we kill, we slaughter, no matter how many people's homes we destroy and demolish, it won't matter, the world won't care, and especially the United States won't give a shit if we say this phrase. Israel has the right to protect itself. It's over. Conversation over. No one needs to even interject with their opinion because the conversation is done. Israel needs to protect itself. Therefore, kill as many small children. Ignore the fact that there's other better ways to protect yourself, to make peace happen. That's just the end of the conversation. Okay, so this video just came out, it got released recently, and it's from 2001, and it features Binyamin Netanyahu, who is Israel's prime minister. And at one point he looks over to the camera and he says, turn off the camera so we can elaborate on what's really going on. And this is all in Hebrew. And after he thinks the cameras are off, he starts to speak. And he goes over the Palestinian, this is in 2001, the Palestinian conflict with Palestine and the relationship with the United States. Let me read you some of the transcript. Now these are just some of the interesting parts, to me anyway. So Netanyahu says, the Arabs now are preparing for a campaign or war of terror, and they think that this will break us. The main thing is, first and foremost, to hit them hard. Not just one hit, but many painful hits, so that the price will be unbearable. The price is not unbearable now. A total assault on the Palestinian Authority to bring them to a state of panic that everything is collapsing. Fear that everything will collapse. This is what we'll bring them to. Then a woman interrupts. She says, but wait a minute. At that point, the whole world will say, what, are you occupiers? Which Netanyahu interrupts her and says, the world will say nothing. The world will say that we are defending ourselves. I know what America is. America is a thing that can be easily moved in the right direction. Let's suppose that they, the Americans, will say something to us, the Israelis. So they say it. So what? The woman says, aren't you afraid of the world? Netanyahu says, no, especially now with America. I know what America is. America is a thing that can be easily moved. The Americans will not bother us. 80% of the Americans support us. It's absurd. We have such great support there. I interpret the Oslo Accords in such a way that will enable me to stop this rush towards the 67 borders. The Oslo Accords being the one peace agreement between Palestine and Israel. And in those accords, Israel agreed. They actually agreed to give territories and land back to Palestine. And they also agreed not to make any more settlements in Palestinian territory. So Netanyahu goes on to say, the Oslo Accords. I was asked before the elections, will you act according to them? And I answered, yes, subject to reciprocity and limiting the withdrawals. But how do you limit the withdrawals? I interpret the accords in such a way that will enable me to stop this rush towards the 1967 borders. So how do we do it? So Netanyahu goes on to say, no one said what defined military sites. As far as I'm concerned, the Jordan Valley is a defined military site. I received a letter to me and to Arafat at the same time, which said that Israel and only Israel would be the one to define what those are. At that moment, I actually stopped the Oslo Accord. Okay, so what Netanyahu is basically saying is, first of all, the United States is a bunch of rubes. They're easily duped into towing any line. Now, and he's speaking candidly here, and this is just an analogy at this point. Yes, the United States is incredibly easy to sway. We convinced our public that torture was cool, that torturing people was perfectly fine. In fact, we convince the public through the media that you're a pussy if you're not down with torture. You're a fucking pussy. Torture is awesome. Thanks, media. So anyway, and he's also saying, and what he's saying is the Oslo Accords, which are a peace accords that the Israel went into, supposedly under this idea that they wanted peace, that he just completely nullified any obligations that Israel may have based upon the agreements set forth in those accords. And he's happy about it. Basically everything that we agreed to, fuck them. And it's funny to me when people tell me things like, okay, OG, well, yeah, you're fucking defending these dirty Palestinian motherfuckers, these fucking filthy Arabs, fucking, you're gonna defend them? Okay, well, look at it like this way, look at this like this way. What if Canada were firing rockets into the United States? That analogy is not even an analogy that has anything to do with what's happening over there on so many levels. It fails so hard. I can't even believe that a normal thinking person would postulate such a thing, would even put forth such a stupid fucking argument. Because that is to suppose that we have been occupying Canada. Not only have we been occupying Canada, we've been just taking their territory. We've been going over there with our military and smashing down their homes and taking their homes. And then some of them fire rockets into America. What the hell? What kind of an analogy is that? Any Palestinian that is firing rockets over into Israel, really, it's fucking stupid. The reason why is you're not doing shit. Like, if you look up this, if you try to look this up, the rocket situation, just type in something like Israeli deaths from Palestinian rocket fire, or total Israeli. Try to find what the numbers are. People killed, people who have died in Israel because of rockets sent over from Palestine. It's difficult to even find a number. I was able to find one number. This is from a BBC report. Qasim and other rockets have killed 13 people inside Israel, including 3 children. That's right, 13 people. I feel bad for those 13 people. This last time that they went in and with the military and just fucking wrecked shop. You're talking about attacking a city filled with civilians. Okay? And if you tell me that, oh, but there were 13 people killed by rocket attacks, fucking, there were 13 people in Israel killed by rocket attacks. So that means they had to go in and kill hundreds of civilians. These are people that, every child that died from those attacks were not people that were firing rockets. How can you tell the mother of that child that, well, there were some people that were in your area that were firing rockets? And how can you even approach the person who fired the rockets and tell them that you have no business firing rockets into Israel? When Israel constantly, they're building new settlements on Palestinian land. Now, this doesn't mean that this is like BLM land that's out in the hills and no one lives there. This is Israel goes in with fucking tractors and demolition equipment. This is after agreeing to not do this, to not go into Palestinian territory and not build any more settlements. They go in with bulldozers and they destroy people's homes. They destroy them. You have so much time to get out. Now you're a Palestinian family. You're going to work every day. You're a good, productive citizen. You fucking pray to Allah every fucking 7 times a day or whatever it is you have to do. And you're a good little Palestinian. You have a family. You've bought your home. You're paying your bills. You're not fucking doing anything bad. You're not trying to fire any rockets at anyone. And the Israeli government comes in, a government that's not your government, that's from the country over the border, and destroys your home with a fucking bulldozer. Now you're out on the street, your whole family, all your shit's been destroyed. You go stay with a relative or something, or get a tiny apartment or whatever. Now this happens constantly, all the time, and they just keep doing it. Just fuck you, just keep doing it. Over and over again. And here with this tape, we have Netanyahu just talking about how his number one priority in all of these talks is to continue doing that. Continue taking more territory, no matter what. Now, it's very clear this is the goal of Israel. So how do we move forward and bring about, because isn't the goal peace? because the Israeli government's goal is not peace at all. It is absolutely not peace. It's build more settlements. That's number one on the list.